Hey guys, what's up? Back from work. I know it's dark. You're gonna have to deal with it. The light I usually use makes my wife have a headache, and I don't really feel like stressing her out tonight. So, sorry, gonna have to deal with the darkness. The darkness. Anyway.
I'm attacking the darkness.
You know, with all this religious crap that I've been dealing with lately, it's got me thinking about things that I usually think about, well, all the time, but it brought another subject to the forefront that I figured I might as well talk about on video, just to see what you guys think about it. This is another one of those, I toss it out there, you tell me what you think of it sort of videos. So,
it's interactive.
Yeah, I'm thinking about souls. Yeah, the concept of a soul, you know. Throughout history, especially in religion, we have always heard of the concept of a soul. I almost said living soul, but your soul, you're not really, it's an oxymoron, because when you're dead, you're dead. If it's just your soul moving around, well, you're dead. So living soul to me makes no sense. But yeah, you know, there's the concept of a soul, a sense of a part of you, your true self, being more than what you are in the physical sense. This kind of ethereal version of yourself, which is supposed to encompass the true you, the true you that animates your physical form, the true you that houses your personality, yourself, your identity. And this is the self that goes on into a higher plane, or in some cases, depending on your religion, a lower plane if you happen to have been a quote-unquote evil or bad person. Like, for instance, in Christianity and in Islam, I don't necessarily think Judaism, but there's a sense of, you know, when you do evil things and you die, you are then judged by the Creator, and if you were a bad person, you are sent to a plane of eternal torment, where you feel, you know, you're tortured and you go through pain. In some cases, but the most common aspect, especially in Christianity, is fire. You get to burn in the flames of hell, which I've always found interesting, because you don't even have a physical body, so how can you feel it? But we'll just let that go for now. And then, of course, if you're a good person, you go to heaven, and you know, you experience eternal bliss, though their version of eternal bliss apparently is just going to church every day. So, I don't know. To each their own. But, you know, thinking of all that, and thinking of the concept of the soul, and thinking of the concept of an afterlife for the soul, you know what, when I think about those things, you know what that makes me, what instantly pops up in my head whenever I hear those concepts? Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, Alzheimer's disease. Okay, look, I know that sounds weird, and I know, look, I know I'm a weird person too, so I sometimes throw these weird things out, but trust me, there's a method to my madness, and there's a method to the weird connection that I have between souls and afterlives and Alzheimer's disease. If you just let me explain, it'll make sense. As you guys, you know, I'm sure you already know, Alzheimer's disease is a rather horrible condition, you know, where basically your mind, I'm using these in layman's terms, okay, so I'm bound to get some things wrong, but generally it's a disease where your mind basically deteriorates, especially in your old age. That's when you start to see it. And even though everybody experiences it in their own way, it basically, we know the common symptoms. The most common one we all know about is memory loss, where your short-term memory is the first to go. You're forgetting little details here and there, and then gradually you start forgetting, you know, what happened yesterday, what happened the day before. You start forgetting your recent friends, your best friends currently. You start forgetting your life, your favorite hobbies. And this is all while your motor functions and everything is getting messed up too, because remember, your brain is controlling all that, but you're also losing your sense of identity, to the point where there have been some Alzheimer's patients who believe that they're still children at the late stages of this disease, and they've forgotten everything about their adult lives. You know, that all is just gone, you know? All those memories just gone. And that sense of identity that you've had, that you've built up, the personality that truly became you, is pretty much gone, especially if you regressed back to who you were in your basic childhood, because you were still forming your personality then. You didn't do the things or experience the things that made you who you were. And then of course then there's death. You know, so it's a really messed up disease. So why would something like that, why would I link something like that to an afterlife and a soul? Well, see, the concept of the soul is that when you die, the person who you are, your identity, your personality, carries on beyond the physical form into an afterlife where you're punished or rewarded for what you've done on earth. But what about the people who have suffered from Alzheimer's disease? When they die, they have no recollection of who they were as adults, no recollection of their past deeds. They don't even know who they are when they die. So my question is, does the soul still remember? Or is that personality gone upon death? Or in this case, before death, with Alzheimer's disease? Now I know some people will be quick to jump, of course your soul will remember, but if your soul still remembers, and your soul is who you truly are, then logically there shouldn't be any reason why you should forget anything. Because your soul is you, right? Your soul is true, is who you are as a person. And your soul, if it's going to be judged for, you know, what it has done in your life, like your soul is basically you. If you're going to be judged for what you've done in the afterlife, then you have to at least remember what you've done. And you have to still have the personality you've had by the time you died in order to, you know, be the recipient of whatever rewards or punishments you're going to get in the afterlife, right? But if your soul can't recall these memories while you're still alive when you're having Alzheimer's disease, that means when you die, you're a blank slate. Because the logic is stated, the evidence looks like it's pointing to that your memories and your personality is actually linked to your brain, not your soul. Because when your physical self and your brain is attacked and you start to lose memories, your soul, for some weird reason, doesn't seem to hold on to those memories. You can't recall them. They're gone. The physical self is damaged and you forget everything. So that would suggest that if there is such a thing as an afterlife and a soul, that when you die, your soul will remember nothing. And it will not have the identity or personality or sense of self that you have when you're alive. And if that is the case, then is it truly just to punish an entity that doesn't have the same personality as the person who's supposed to be judged? It's like you're being sentenced, you know, in absentia. You're not, it's not, basically it's like they're punishing someone else, because it's not you. Who you were died on your deathbed, or in the street, or off a mountain, or wherever, however you happen to have died. And particularly if it's Alzheimer's disease, it's probably in your bed. But there's no memory, there's no personality there. So how could that soul be punished? And does this sort of reasoning that I'm going through suggest that maybe there really isn't a soul at all? Because if the soul is supposed to be who you truly are, your personality, your identity, yourself, but that sense of self can deteriorate with one horrible disease, then what does that say about a soul? How important is it if your identity can disappear like that before you even die? Is it simply the energy that moves your body around? If it is, there's no real reason to punish a basic life force with no sense of self, does it? Keep in mind, I'm not giving you guys any absolute answers here, and I'm not stating what I think is. I'm just throwing this out there because I honestly think that if you're caught up in this whole belief in an afterlife and a soul thing, then I think this is at least worth pondering once or twice. I don't know. You guys tell me.